G'day, g'day, g'day. Welcome back to TF Custom Shaving Brushes Workshop. How are we? I see there's a couple of yous already in the chat there. I think you beat Razor in tonight. That's unusual. He must be held up with other things, I think. Where am I going to put that? I've got a little SIM card here, tiny little one, micro SD. I'm going to have to put that somewhere where I ain't going to lose it. We'll put it over there on my phone. That's the shot. Yeah, so how are we all alright? How's your day been? Good, I hope. Let me just bring up the chat here so I can see what's going on. So we've got Sam in there. Razor is in there. How you doing, Razor? Samuel, Brett. Good to see you all in there. So you can see I've scheduled in. I don't know if you get to see. Do you get to see the scheduled videos that I've got in on YouTube when you go onto my YouTube channel? Do you get to see all the scheduled videos lined up, or do you only just get the notification? Grey Dog, good morning to you, mate. How are you? Yeah, I'm just not sure how it punches through to you guys, whether you get all the scheduled streams that I've got in. Yeah, that's right, yes. Okay, so you get to see the scheduled streams that I've got in, because I've got quite a number in there and I've got a few more to add to that yet. So it's just going to be an ongoing process now of adding to that. So cool, okay, that's good, excellent. I didn't know when, I knew you would have got notified, but I just didn't know when you would have got notified. But that's good, if you're seeing what's there, that's good. You get plenty of notice on what's happening, you can pick and choose as you feel free. But like I said, I've got a few other ones to get scheduled in there. I'm also in the process of setting up a Patreon page as well. But if anybody does want to assist in what I'm doing, they can go to the Patreon and support me in the Patreon page as well. It's just getting sorted out at the moment. I'm looking to try and maybe get some TF Customs shaving brush merchandise on that as well, which will be something new, and that might be rewards for patronage as well. So we'll see how we go, slowly. But you know, I'll keep doing the YouTube videos, and I might release some special ones to the Patreon site as well, and some behind the scenes stuff as well. So yeah, exciting times. Now I have played around with the cameras again, so you'll notice that, well, I'm hoping you'll notice that this one, the one that you're viewing at the moment, is a fair bit darker. And I'm hoping that that's just going to give you some clarity and round about what I'm doing and how I've got things set up here. I just noticed that camera's a little bit squint, but that's all right. It's a bit too far that way, but I can fix that up later. Actually, I might fix it now while we're at it. Just let me see if I can turn that around a touch, because it is a little bit too far one way. Actually, I might be able to do it just like, might be able to do it just like that. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's a bit better. Probably still a little bit that way, but that's all good. We can work with that. And I've played around with the exposure on a couple of the other cameras as well. So I've darkened a lot of them down now, so hopefully you'll get a clearer picture on what you're seeing in the lathe here when I get to the other closer shots. Now this is one of Srdjan's. I've got a few to do for Srdjan. So these will be going away to be fitted with Rhodium Knots. So you're not going to get to see them with a knot sitting in them, unless I grab one in my 2 bands and just set that in to let you see if I've got an appropriate size one there. This one's going to be based on a sort of a chubby type style. I've done some for him some time before, and that's the style that it's going to be based on. And it's just a free-form shape, not the exact same as a chubby. It's my version of that, which will be a little bit more curvy than that. But we'll see how we go anyway. This wood was supplied by Srdjan, so again he's obviously picked it up from somewhere, and he picks up some other blanks along the way. And yeah, so it's supposed to be stabilised. It's Amboyna Burl. It's a lovely piece of timber, but we won't know how it's going to turn until we actually start turning it. So this was one of the blocks that I glued onto a waste block in one of the earlier streams, where you see me turning the waste blocks and or glue blocks, whatever you want to call them. And I now got it in the lathe, so I'm going to start turning this. Brett and his green brushes. Excellent. So all they're all shown on YouTube. That's great. Yeah, well, the Patreon page, like I said, I'm just in the process of getting that all set up now. I've actually started it. It's probably live now, and it's just I think you've just got to go to Patreon/TF Customs, and I think that takes you to that should take you to the page. But if you're unsure about anything, just pop me a message, and we can take it from there. The merchandise side of that, I'm still in the process of setting that up. I did put a poll up there, so if you do become a patron on the Patreon site, then basically there's a poll there that's asking for some questions on what sort of gear you would like me to make available. So you'll be able to vote on that and see what you think. And obviously what I'm also going to try and do on that is I'm going to try and have a giveaway every so often. So like maybe once every 3 months I might make a brush and we'll give that away but it'll only be available to patrons. And also we might do some other things in there as well. So yeah, it should be good. It should be good fun. So but we'll see how things go. I mean, you've got to try these things to find out if they're going to work for you or not. I mean, sometimes they don't work for you, and other times they do, you know, so it just depends. We're getting close to the 80 subscribers now on YouTube. We're around about 77, I think, so we need another 3 subscribers and we'll hit that 80 mark. So keep sharing those videos around, guys, and sharing links and whatever you want to do to the other shaving people out there. Yeah, it should be there, Sam. It's definitely there, mate, because I actually logged into it myself earlier, so it's definitely there. I'll get the links though, and I can put the links up somewhere for you later on. Won't be in this stream anyway. I'm going to start turning this very shortly. So yeah, so keep your eyes open, guys, and who knows, you might be walking around with a TF Custom Shaving Brushes t-shirt on, or a, you know, something like that. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Rightio, well look, I'm going to start this. Hopefully this blank should turn okay, being stabilised. I did have some from Srdjan previously, you know, they were beautiful blanks, but unfortunately they weren't stabilised the best, so we'll have to see how these ones go as well, to be honest. I might actually take it to round first, or take it down closer to round first. So just give me a sec till I get the tool rest set up here, and then we'll start taking it to round, I think. That's my roughing gouge, spindle roughing gouge, fairly big tool, you can see there. Its name says it all. That's basically what it is. It's only for spindle work, so where the timber is running parallel with the bedways of the lathe. And it's just a nice heavy solid tang on it. And that basically gives it its strength just to take a square blank to round. And I might change to my other tool rest in a little while as well, because it's very hard to get a true line on this one. It sounds quite hard, but I'm getting a lot of dust off it, so I'm not sure how well stabilised it is. Just go the other way now. Yeah, it's very dusty. So, like I said, yeah, there's a lot of tear out, a lot of... I don't think it's very well stabilised, to be honest. It's getting a lot of chip out. And I mean, that's not a blunt tool either that I'm using there, so... no worries, Brett, you just go and do what you've got to do, buddy. Oh, just bumped that camera there with the airline. We don't want to do that. Okay, I'm just going to adjust that one a little bit too. Probably there. Might tilt it up just before I change to that camera. I'll get the camera in the right position. Just give me 2 secs, guys, because I think I can get a better shot in that camera too than what we've got there currently. And we'll just move it around a touch. There. Yeah, that should be all right. That's much better. Yeah. Much better. And we'll just zoom in on that one a little bit more as well. And once I change to those, you'll see what I've done. Like I said, they're a lot darker, so hopefully you can see the colour better. You can actually see what's going on in the blanks as well. Yeah, I might just, what I'll do is I'll go to camera 4 and I'll just go over and set this tool up, and I'll just give it another sharpen just to make sure that it's not the tool, but it shouldn't be the tool because it feels sharp. So I'll just set up the grinder here, and it'll just take me a couple of minutes just to get the angle set. And that should be not too bad there. Maybe just a tad more. That's better. Yep, nearly there. So that's much better. I'll see how I get what sort of cut I get on that now. There's the timber, as you can see, but when it's cutting, it's actually tearing out. So it's not. If it's been stabilised, it's not stabilised very well. I'm just going to lower the tool rest a touch. It's cutting a little bit better, but it's very dusty. So I just took the skew to that there. It's cutting quite cleanly with the skew, but you can hear how hard it is. Okay. So all I'm doing there is just squaring up the end of that blank, and what I'm going to do is just take that little bit out the centre there now. That's nice and flat and nice and clean. So you should be able to see that from that shot now. It's nice and clean, lots of grain, lots of colour. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is just strengthen that up again, give it some support. And then I'm going to bring the tool rest out a bit, and I'm actually going to trim that blank back using the Srdjan. So all I'm doing now is I'm just checking to make sure that when I get it round I stop, because I want to use the maximum width of the blank. We've still got a little bit of flat there. That noise is just the live centre. So we've already lost probably 4 mil off the width of that blank, because getting it to square. It was a 50/50 blank, square blank. We've still got a tiny little bit there. We should end up with just under 50mm round, I reckon. Yeah, we're under 50 now. We're about 40, 48.5 at the moment. And I've still got to take a little bit off to get rid of this flat hay. I'll bring the tool rest in a bit more. We'll check that. So we're round there, we're just round there, we're round there, and we're just round there. So that's us got it, that's our size there now. So we'll take it back to there. And you may see me go back and forward to the tool, the grinder a couple of times tonight, because this will take a fair bit out of the tools. Colours look much better, good. Excellent, yeah, it's very dusty. And the worst of it is I really don't want to put my dust extraction on because it's just too noisy and wouldn't be very enjoyable in the video actually. So I'd rather leave that off. But I may have to revert to a dust mask if it gets too bad. Yep, so we've basically got to take it down to that size. It's close to it anyway. That's getting rid of the flat. Yep. I'll just keep the electronics free from the dust and the shavings. It's got a really strong smell, the Amboyna. It's turning down nicely now. Okay. So there we go, we've got it nice and round. So now we'll start thinking about the shape we're going to put in, and I'll probably end up having to sharpen a couple of the tools pretty quickly too. But we'll get a couple of pencil marks on here now. Oh, there I go. I just dropped that bloody little micro SD. I don't want to lose that. I'll sit it up there for now. See how we go with that. Okay, so we want a couple of sizes on here now. So up to 67 millimeters is what Srdjan has given me. Which is about there. And we want a band probably about there. That should look okay. But we'll soon know once we put the socket in for the knot, because I've got specific sizes I need to work to for that as well. So we'll get rid of that for a second. We'll put this in. Now this will be a struggle as well, even although this bit's a fairly fresh one. But it will be a little bit of a struggle because the wood is so hard, and it has been stabilised, but I don't know why it's so dry and powdery. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Okay, so with this one, I need to slow it down. That's too quick. Probably about there actually. We'll see how we go with that. So this opening needs to be 31 millimeters, and that's a 28mm bit. So we'll just check, make sure that we're all good there. Wrong one. It's too big. That's a 32 and it should have been a 28. But that's all good because I didn't go in too deep. So we're all good there, and I'll just take that end off. So we'll go again. So we'll go in there again now. We'll just tidy that up. tiny bit. That's us. Slow that down again now. Till we're just touching. We'll actually set that on 0. Just touching there now. Rami, how are you, mate? And we're going in 18 millimeters. Sixteen, 17, 18. So that's us in our depth now. Okay, we'll take that off for now. We'll move the tool rest over. Now I'll set my calipers to 31. So that's 31 there. And we'll see how that looks on here. So if I go to that camera there for you, you'll see where I've just put that mark in using the point of the calipers. So now I can bring in the tool rest a bit closer. Set the height so that when I go in with the point of the skew, it will cut on that mark and be at the right height for cutting. But I still need to bring that tool rest out just a touch, just so we've got flat contact with the skew on the tool rest. And I don't mind if I take a little bit less, because I can always take a little bit more, you know. Yep, pretty good there. Yep. Now, I just want to check something here as well. Yeah, okay. All right. So just go again, take a tiny little bit more. You can always tell when you hit the bottom because it just stops. Now we'll just blow that out. Keep that up there. And then just to confirm, I'm just going to check that again. .31, and just a test of this. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to check something with Srdjan. I hope he responds pretty quickly. Because he wants this to be a special size to fit that tubing as well. But he gave me the size of 31, but 31, that tubing doesn't fit in 31 because the tubing's about 31.5. So we'll see what he's got to say. I haven't had any messages from Srdjan today, so I don't know if he's around or if he's away or out of town for a day or two, I'm not sure. Now, I do have a couple of pencil marks on there that I put on earlier, so I do want to change them now. And I think that's probably going to end up having to be made bigger there as well. So, one thing at a time. Let's get my size back on here correct, which was 67 millimeters. No bigger than that. So we're going to go a couple of mil on that one there, and we'll go a couple of mil on that one there. Well, actually, I might leave that one for now, and we'll see how that looks. I think. Yeah. So that extra that we're adding on, sorry if I go to that shot, that extra that I'm adding on here is to accommodate for the little amount that I took off this end, okay? So it just lets you see what I'm doing, okay? And that's about I reckon about 20, Yeah, I reckon we need to bring that back a little bit there. So I reckon we need to be about there with that one as well. Yeah, that'll be better. Okay, so let's, I can always come back to that, I can always come back to this hole and get that the right size later, but at the moment I think what I'll focus on is getting the shape down now. Yeah, aren't the P&C brushes, the Matildas, looking good, eh? What do you reckon, fellas? The tools don't like cutting conventionally on this stuff. It's so hard, eh? So I think I'm going to do it slightly differently, just with what tools are cutting well and what tools are not. the tailstock back up just for a little bit of added support again. We'll go with that one. Right, I just want to have a look at that. Get rid of all this dust. Yeah, that's cutting up quite nicely. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just start, well, I might actually put my parting tool in to set the bottom of the handle, just so that it guides me and I can see the shape as it's forming and making sure everything's keeping in proportion. How is this one? Might just give that a touch on the wheel. So we'll go to camera 4 for you. Beautiful. And then we'll come back to camera 3. So you can see now what I was talking about the blanks being relatively short in length. You know, we've got very little material left, and there would have been nothing there able to hold it in the chuck. So hence why we use the glue block. Okay, now we're going to have a little ring about, say, maybe there, and a ring about maybe there. And we can tweak them to suit as well, you know, we don't have to be set in any definite shape, hard shape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this round tip. Actually, I'll start with the round tip and we'll see how we go. If the round tip doesn't work, I'll change it to the diamond tip, the diamond shaped tip, which is a little bit better for detailing. But we'll see how this cuts with this one. And if it cuts okay, then we can stick with it. Let's have a look at the cut. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's okay. We'll continue on. She's hard. I might just try the diamond tip and see if we can get a little bit more sharper detail on it. And I'll try it straight up, and if that's too aggressive, then what I'll do is I'll Right, so I'm just getting the rough shape in there, and we can detail it up much better in a little while. So I'm just having a look over the top there. Sorry if my head's getting in the way, but I'm just really paying attention to the detail and the shape that we're putting in. Now I'm going to reduce that top band down a little bit. Well, actually, I'll go in and shape the brush a little bit more first, with a big skew. It's not too bad there. Okay, I can probably use that again actually, or I might go in with the Badan for that. That'll be better. And I will actually go in with the carbide again, I think. How are we all going in the chat, all right? All good? Right, I've reduced that down, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Go back in and shape that curve a little bit more again now with the diamond point. You've got to be very careful with these because they can be quite aggressive. But if you just take a nice light cut, and you can use the point of the tool, but you can also use the side of the tool as well. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the round tool back on and just go in and sweeten that up a little bit. With a nice, stable, light cut. Okay, that's not too bad. I might just go in and shape that a little bit more though. Oh, I know what's going on. We've got a little bit of dust in the switch. Okay. Right, we'll just give a bit of a clean up. The joys of wood turning, eh? Lots and lots of dust and mess. Okay. Now let me think on my next plan of attack here now. So I'm just going to go a little bit deeper there. I'll drop that tool rest a tiny touch. Stay. Srdjan is in the house, eh? Did you get my message, mate? Yeah, you got my message. Yeah, I thought you might want it to fit the fit that tube, so that's fine, mate. That's no problems. I'll come back to that in a little while before I part it off. Actually, I'll do it now because then that way it's done, you know, and I won't forget about it. So I'll get rid of that. What do you think of the shape, mate? It's not much, it's not much. Well, it's, I mean, I'm keeping the tools sharp, Srdjan, so I'm getting a nice clean cut on it, but it's very, very, very dry. I'm getting a lot of dust off it, so I don't know whether the, I really don't know. I don't know whether it's, we'll see how we go with it, mate. I'm getting a nice finish on it, so there's no issues with it, but I don't know what you want to do as far as, look, we'll sand it up. We'll sand it up and we'll see how we go, and then if you don't think you're happy with the look or the timber's a bit sort of dryish, then we can discuss what you want to do, whether you want to oil them or whether you want to CA finish them or what you want to do. But it's very dry and dusty. Very dry and dusty and very sawdusty. It's not like it's, you know, I mean, I know from turning mines is like turning plastic, but this is like turning wood, and it's very, very dry. And if I zoom out, you'll see you'll see all the sawdust on the floor. It's just fine sawdust. Oh, you can see it just up the top edge there on the floor. It's just powdery dry, but it's just feels like dust. Feels like timber dust, like you would normally get when you're sanding. So I've flared that and that. I'll probably make that just a little bit thinner to blend in with that one. That'll get rounded over. And I might just take that hollow in just a little bit more. But if I take that hollow in a little bit more, that'll narrow that ring down there anyway. And then we're going to round the bottom very, very slightly. So I'm going to take this extra material just out of here now. Just need to drop that rest a tiny little bit. Now, tighten a little bit more. Just drop that down another little touch as well. So I'm cutting more on centre. So that's it started. We just need to try and get that a little bit more even down in the inside. Beautiful. Okay, so that's in there nice and snug. You get a little bit of room there for glue as well, just a little bit. Oh. Ugh. Okay, let's come back to this. So I'll let you have a look from the top down and I'll zoom in for you so you can get a look at it. So we'll go to camera 3 and I'll just zoom in as far as I can go there. So I'm just going to reshape this a little bit, but you can see the timbers cut nice and clean, straight off the tool. So we'll be able to go to sanding on that, and it should come up quite nicely. There is a few just in the grain. There's a few little holes and crevices that aren't filled with resin by the looks of things. That's what sort of makes me wonder if the resin has actually penetrated properly. I know that my stuff, when I do mine, I know that all the cracks and everything get filled with resin in there. But this is showing little cracks and little holes. So obviously the resin hasn't gotten into them. I don't know what that is there. That's like a hole, I don't know. But anyway, it's a mark in the timber, but it's it's there, it's natural in there. It's nothing that. But yeah, there's just, especially there, you can see there's a few cracks and stuff in there. Now normally if that had been stabilised properly, and bearing in mind that these cracks are out at almost the widest part of the blank, normally the resin would actually fill all those little cracks and voids, just little hairline cracks. So it doesn't look like it's stabilised all the way through, mate, to be honest. But that's just me. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's my take on it. I know when I do mine, like I said, it's very different to what I'm looking at here. So I can only go off my experiences, mate. But it'll still come up nice when it's oiled or with a CA finish, depending on what way you want to go with it. Just before I get too excited, now that we've got that end sorted, I might just give a little bit of stability here again. All right, let me see. So shape's good, yep, love the shape, excellent. Yeah, razor, it's not quite your traditional chubby shape. It's a little bit different, but it's, you know, it's based along those lines, I guess, but it's a little bit more shapy. Okay, let me get going again, eh? And maybe just a little bit more there. Now, what I'll do, Srdjan, is while I've got that zoomed in close like that, mate, what I'll do is I'll sit my rule on it so you can see some dimensions, eh? So, the base of that handle is, let me just stick my head in the way for a sec. The base of that handle is round about 48 millimeters wide. Okay, that's the base. Now I still have to round that just a little bit. Now up the other end of the handle, at this point here, across the widest section here, it's around, just very roughly, it's around the 47 to 48 as well up there. But it tapers in and then flares back out at the bottom. Ryan, how are you, buddy? No worries, mate. Okay, right. I'm just going to give that bottom edge just a little bit of a round over. And a clean up. And I'll get the other one with the sandpaper on that one, just to round that. I don't want to ruin that detail there. Okay. Dimensions are good, I think. Do you want it smaller? Do you want, well, I mean, it couldn't have been any bigger, because the square blank was about 50 mil, but it was slightly out of square. So by the time I took it to round, I didn't take it any further than I had to. And by the time I took it to round, the round blank was around 48. So basically you've got the maximum here, the 48, and then I've narrowed it slightly in here, in this section here, and I've tried to keep it at the maximum 48 up here as well. So I've taken very little material off here. It was just really to dress the timber up and get the timber so that it was looking reasonably tidy. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Just be sure of the sizes though, because once I part it off, we can't go back and do anything with it after. So if you're happy with that, I'm going to start sanding it. There you can see the handle straight off the tool. There's a little line here, but it's not a tool mark. It's because it's a smooth. Well, it is a tool mark, but it's not in the timber because it's smooth curve in there. It's just a rub mark, I think, on the timber, but that'll come out once we sand. But the rest of it's fairly smooth straight off the tool without any sanding. I don't think I can get any closer for you without it going off the picture. There you go. That's about as close as you're going to get. It has got a little bit of a shine to it, so maybe once it gets a little bit of buffing, it may polish up. Maybe it is stabilised a bit more than I think it is. It's just, I mean, there is cracks. See, like this black void here, that could have been resin that's filled that. And there's a couple of other cracks there that look like they're filled as well. They're not, those black cracks there are not, they're not hollow, those ones. But there's some down here that are hollow. There's some up here that are hollow. Some in here that are hollow. So, you know, whether the resin's actually impregnated in certain areas or not is another thing, you know. So what do you want slimmed down, mate? The one that you sent me back, this one, the broken one, right, that we're going to cast something on the top, that one there is the same size as that. So if you can remember that one, or maybe just a tiny little bit smaller. So if I take that out to the edge of the blank there, that's about 46, that one, when I measure that, across the total width of the blank there. It's about 46, 47. .46 where though, mate? On the bottom? Okay, I'm just going to zoom that camera out a bit now so that I can, oh, didn't want to drop that, but never mind. I'll set my calipers to 46. A little bit more. I thought you wanted to have as much meat up here as you possibly could, but I guess if you're going to tube it, then I guess you don't really need that strength. Is that right? Nah, I just dropped my rule, Sam. Nothing drastic, mate. Okay, that's just about there now. That'll do it. Okay. So if I show you the, there's what you've got at the top. Now I'll take that down a little bit, but I really don't think you want to take it down too much, mate, to be honest. Right, let me just get set up here. Not too far away, but I will need to take that inner ring down a bit. Get rid of this dust. Yeah, we should be all good now, buddy. So that bottom end is bang on now, okay? This here is just not quite there, but it's almost there, but I don't want to take any more off it, to be honest. I could thin this waist here a little bit, but I think we probably want to leave that a little bit wider up here. Yeah, that's probably not too bad. Now we'll thin out the groove in the bottom, I think. And that'll probably about do us, I think, Srdjan. Okay. So I might take that one out again. And I'll go in with the diamond one, the detailing one. And we'll just reset that slot again. Okay, here we go again. So we're just rounding that off now. Srdjan, you still there, mate? Because we've reduced it in size, it's taken that, it's not as tapered now on the bottom, but it's still got a bit of taper, but not a lot. I can take that ring down a little bit more, but I don't want to go too low that you've got no ring there, you know. Let me just take it in a little bit more. And I'll just go in a little bit more on that bottom of the top section to give us a little bit more. Let me go to that shot for you, mate. Is that enough for you? So these are set in 46, and that's just nice on that widest rim of that band on the bottom. Then if we go up here, I mean, it's almost there. It's, you know, there's probably about 1/2 mil in that there. 1/2 mil to 1 mil there. But you can see we're quite narrow, you know, down here now. So if I bring that into there, move the tool rest out of the way a bit, might be easier. That's that there, so at that narrow point just in here, that now measures 39. And if I go back to this old one, hey, it's 39. There's the old one there, and as you can see the caliper is just on that, spot on. So that size there and this size on the old one are spot on. The handle's probably a little bit longer. Thoughts, Srdjan? Thoughts, mate? Thoughts? I'm thinking that bead there still needs a little bit more off there, just to reduce it a little bit. And I'm thinking that's going to do it. Lots of dust, fellas, lots of dust. Okay, I'm going to start sanding. So sand and buff and leave it, and that's it, Srdjan? Oh. How are we all going in there, fellas, all right? You liking what you're seeing? I'm gonna need that. No worries, mate. That's 180. No, I think Srdjan must have something else arranged, Grey Dog, for the finish. So basically all I'm going to do is sand it and then hit it on the buffer. And then as far as I'm aware, that's it. So I think he must have something else in mind for what he wants to do with it. So yeah, just a sand and buff, mate. Just a sand and buff. Dee 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 dee. Okay. Now we'll go to 240. think I was on the best shot for showing you this eye. I think camera 3 is probably the head down shot's probably the best shot for it. I just thought I'd change it for you. Okay. Yeah, I'll wipe it with a little bit of methylated spirits, mate, once I'm finished with it, because it just evaporates anyway, so it's no big deal. I can understand why Srdjan doesn't want oil on it if he wants to fill it. We oiled the last ones, but they were a little bit different. Roberto, mate, how are you, mate? Welcome back to TF Custom Shaving Brushes, mate. Had a lot of wind here today. All right. Seeing methylated spirits going on, Grey Dog, is just the same as seeing it when it gets wet, eh? Just it's exciting. You get to see the true colour and the grind. Starting to shine up a bit now, lads. Just got to keep on top of the scratches. The lathe sound just reduced. The lathe's not running, Sam. But these microphones are pretty sensitive, so it could be the pool pump out the back you've maybe heard. I wasn't listening. I'm not used to all the noises around here, so could have been the pool pump out the back turning off or on, or but the lathe's not been running for a while I've been sanding. And I think I've got my levels good now. I mean, I watched back the video the other night, and let that camera focus. I watched back the video the other night and the sound was pretty good. So I'm a lot happier now with the music levels and the microphone. Oh, there's the thing, is the music still running? The music stopped. Aye? The music stopped. You had no music. Is that what happened? The lavalier microphones tend to, if there's lower sounds in the background, they try and put a little bit of gain onto them. It's one of the problems with them, and I haven't worked out how to rectify it yet. And every time I've tried to change settings, I screw it up. So I thought, well, I'll just leave it. So I've got it so that it's reasonably acceptable and no major hiccups now. But I'm definitely no sound engineer, I can tell you that much. I might be able to make shaving brush handles and turn other things, but I'm no sound engineer, I can tell you. Oh. Right, on to the last grit. Well, second last probably. Da 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 da. Getting there, slowly but surely. Okay, now I'm just going to go and get some fresh water, guys, so I'll be right back. Just give me 2 seconds. Should do us. Get rid of that first, out the way. Been gone for 2.5 hours now, fellas. We still haven't even parted it off yet. So you can see that sometimes the timber blanks can just take so much time to get them right. There's more work goes into one of these most times than what there is goes into an acrylic blank. But the end result should be absolutely astounding. And I really don't think that that's stabilised all the way through, so it'll have to have some time to dry too. We'll put some methylated spirits on it at the end just to help it on its way and just clean it out. Okay. No, it's a single one because I've got another one to do in the same material but different shape. So this is a one-parter, but if it starts to go too long and I've got a bit of finishing to do on it, then I'll have to cut the stream short because depending on how it comes up after this, I mean it could require more time even yet. It still has to be parted off, it still has to be tidied up on the bottom, it still has to be buffed. But it's one of these ones you don't want to cut corners on in any way whatsoever. So, you know, it's going to be a beautiful brush. But it needs to be right, you know. All my brushes need to be right. Don't take that the wrong way. But these just take a lot more time because the higher end and the timber is harder to work with. It's the timber's harder to work. I'd rather work with the resins because the resins, you know, even the hybrids are a pain. But the resins are just so easy because basically you turn it to shape, they're nice and easy to turn to shape. The material's nice to work with. and basically sand it and buff it, and that's it done. With timbers, you've got to sand, 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 and more sand, and then you've got to, you know, put finishes on them. You've got to fill cracks and voids, and you know, you can go on for hours and hours and hours with timber ones. Okay, we'll try that. And as you can see, with the colour of the water and the colour of my hands, we're still getting a lot off it with the soft touch pads. But as long as there's people in here watching, I'll keep it going until I can get as much it done as possible, but it just makes it a really long stream, that's all. Exactly right, Rami. But there is a lot of other nice materials out there, mate. But timber is just beautiful in its own right, but it just takes, and not all the time, I mean, it's only certain timbers just take a lot more work, you know. And when you're working with a product that's of a high end, not cheap, expensive, then you want them to be spot on, you know. Not that I let anything go out that's not right, but it's more than what your business is worth. You're only as good as your last job, or your last handle, or your last anything. You know, people don't forget. It comes back and bites you. So you got to keep everything right. Yeah, exactly. Rami, there's loads of different materials out there, you know, like there's a lot of nice materials, natural materials, and you know, there's also artificial materials that you can use that are quite effective as well, but you know. It's got some nice colour in it too. There's a few lighter sort of golden reddy bits, and then there's the darker bits, and there's sort of black through it as well. So what I might do, fellas, is I'll get it through the sanding, and then what I might do is I might take it out the chuck, because I've got the chuck marked and it'll go back in the same place. I'll take it out the chuck, I'll take it over to the buffer, we'll give it a bit of a buff, and we'll see what we think of the finish, and we'll see what Srdjan thinks. I don't know if Srdjan's still in there though. And then that going well, then I can turn it around and part it off. And if we've got time, I'll finish it, but if not, I can finish it off tomorrow. Still here, mate. So you just heard what I said then. I'll go through the sanding, finish the sanding on it. We'll give it a wipe with methylated spirits. I'll take it over to the buffer. I'll just take it out the chuck, because I've got the chuck marked so I can get it back in the same spot. We'll give it a buff and we'll have a look, eh? And then if we're good with that, I'll part it off. And if I need to, I can finish the rest tomorrow. I'll see how we go tonight. It's just going to go on for quite a while though, that's all. Just too much work and getting it to scratch, even although it came off the tool pretty clean. Right, I should be back now. I just had to do a quick battery change. So that's them changed over. Get those ones in the charger tonight. Yeah. Anyway, back into it. Okay, give this a little bit of a hand rub and then we should be right to hit it with a bit of air and a bit of methylated spirits to clean her up, and then we can try buff it and see what happens, eh? And we'll put these back to that shot there now. Get rid of that down there, get rid of them down there for now. I'll grab a paper towel. I don't have a big knot to sit in it, unfortunately, guys. That's only a little 26 mil. That can go in the bin. We'll get a bit of methylated spirits now. And another clean towel. We'll give it a little bit of a blow too. It almost looks like a piece of plastic now. Only kidding. It's beautiful. Got some lovely grain and colour in it. And hard as old nails. But anyway, that's it done. Other than parting it off on the bottom. That can go in the bin. So what I'll do now is I'll take it off the lathe. The grain's a bit, I mean, you can feel, like, even although I've spent all that time sanding it and making sure that I had no tooling marks in it, but you can actually feel the texture of the grind. Obviously that would be hard and soft spots within the timber, or it could be where the resin's been and hardened it up. It's hard to say, but you can, I mean, it's as smooth as anything, but you can feel the grain, you can feel the gnarly bits in it, you know. Anyway, I'm going to take it off there now because, like I said, as you can see there, that's chuck 3, that's marked chuck 3, and that's 3. That should be 2, 2, 1, 1, and then 4 and 4. So we can take that off there because we can rest assured we can get it back in the same spot. As you tighten up the chuck, you get these little indentations from the edges of the jaws, and that helps relocate it back in exactly the same spot. And there's the, if I can get the camera to focus. Focus, focus, focus. There you go. But you can see the grind. Got something stinging my eye. Where are we? There we are. Alright, I'm going to take it over to the buffer. So I'll swap you over to camera 4. I'm sorry, like I said, I've got to put my back to you fellas, but hopefully you'll get to see a little bit of what I'm doing. So we'll fire up the old buffer. Try and stand to the side so I can let you see what I'm doing. Things falling around here because of the vibration. And the trick to it is not to let anything get too hot as well. That's one of the things when you're buffing. So I'm not letting the timber get hot. And that's very much the same with the acrylics as well, because if you get them hot, you can melt them, burn the plastic. I think you get more of that down there than what you do on the buffing wheel. Might try this new one that I got too, but only just very lightly. Okay, give it a little bit of a polish up now. There we are. I'll bring it closer into the other cameras. Let me just go to that one. Let me get it over there where we can see it. So you can see the, actually I'll give it a little blow. So we might have some buff and compound. Let it. We'll go to that one. Focus, focus, focus. What do you reckon, fellas? I think it's turned out quite nice. It's as smooth as anything, but the grain is a gnarly, lumpy grain. I mean, there's parts that you can feel are just silky smooth, but then you've got a lot of, if I bring that in the picture, you've got a lot of gnarly stuff in through here, and even some of the darker areas in here are obviously much harder. You can still feel them, even although we've spent all that time sanding it. Then there's a couple of bits here, which are on that wider section of the blank again, where you can see there's a little bit of resin in here. So that's obviously, when it's been stabilized, it's actually filled those holes there. And some of these other cracks are filled. And there's some other areas that are as well. But there's still some hollow areas, especially in this gnarly area in here. So, you know, that's entirely up to Srdjan, what he wants to do there, whether he wants to fill them. Or whether you want to leave them a la natural. You know, either way will work, but you could still spend a bit of time filling, and whatever you fill it with, you're going to have to fill it with something that's going to set, because if you're not putting a finish over the top, then you'll end up with differences. You know, you'll end up with dull and shiny and dull and shiny. So. But that's it. So that's that one. All we've got to do with that one now is turn it over, part off the bottom. Now, I might just do that now. We're over 3 hours now, so what the hell. If you guys are going to get up for work in the morning, I suggest you better go now. Get some sleep. I'm just going to go for a little bit longer. I'll part it off. I'll see, I might even just sand up and clean up the bottom, and then that should be it. I'll need a bigger key. This is where you really hope that the timber's got the strength, because in expansion mode, it's got to hold together. If the timber's got any weak points, you just crack the blank. Or crack the timber, and it'll crack along a grain line, you know? The weakest grain line. So I don't want to push it any further than that. I really only need it to hold fairly solid until we get it partied off. Once it's partied off, then the bottom part is easy and it's only light stuff, so it doesn't take a lot to sort out, you know. So we'll lock that there. We'll bring in the tailstock just to give us a little bit of additional support till we get it parted. We may have to adjust that in a little bit tighter again. Need to drop the tailstock, the tool rest right down. And we sharpened this up, so we should get a nice cut on this now. Just let me zoom out a touch on that for you. Probably just a tad too close. So we'll spin it up a little bit. So if you look at that waste block now, the glue block that we've done, we've parted that off, and basically there's no material left for the handle. So we've used the blank to its fullest, basically. We've lost just a couple of mil off the bottom, but you can see we've still got, you know, part of the glue block left, you know. And that glue block can be used again now. So that's only got a little bit in the middle holding it together now. And there it goes. And there's all we've got left on the bottom of the glue block. So, like I said, we've used the full piece of blank to get the handle. Okay, now we'll reset. And we'll come in fairly close. Drop that down a bit. And I need my spindle gouge. That one's too small. That's not spindle gouge. That one. So all I'm going to do is just nice light cuts, and I'm just going to tidy up the bottom of that and make sure it's got a little hollow in it. So I'll put this to camera 2. Okay, and then I'll throw my little straight edge on there. And we'll go to camera 3 again. And we've got a nice mill hollow in the middle of that. I don't think the camera's still quite far enough that way just so that you can shoot down, but it's got a nice little hollow in there. By the time we sand it as well, it should be as good as gold. So here we go, guy. Get my little foam pad so I can get a little bit more pressure. Not too much pressure. And if I go back to that shot again, you should see the grain starting to pop up again once we go through the sanding. And I'll just get that. I always like to mix the sanding up a bit, you know, like, especially with these timbers, because the grain runs in all different directions. That's that one. As you can see, I'll never make any money. I'll never make myself rich doing these, eh? No worries, fellas. We'll see you next stream Sunday night. Another one of these, but a different shape. We'll see you then, eh? Anybody that's leaving? Sorry I've kept you so light. I really didn't want it to go this long, to be honest. See, there's even a couple of little crevices here that are hollow. When I say hollow, I mean they're not big deep holes, they're just little cracks, natural cracks in the timber. that haven't been filled with resin when it's been stabilised. Okay, that's them. We'll just go through with the pads again now very quickly. Doesn't take long to do the bottom. No worries, pal. Catch you later, Razor. Just a little bit too fast. That's better. Thanks, Sam. It does look awesome, but at the end of the day, Srdjan's got to be happy with it, you know? Okay, that's that done. That's that done. Paper towel. And give it a bit of a dry off. And we'll just go with a little bit of methylated spirits on that now as well. Just to finish it off. And get any, it helps get the dust out of the grain as well. It gives more depth to the grind. And we'll just check that again. Should be good. Beautiful. Now we can release it. We'll give that a buff up again. And the test is, well, it'll sit nice flat. There you go. Lovely and flat. Oh, you can't see it there. You can't see it there either. Can't see it there either. Can't show you. Oh yeah, you can't see it there. Sort of. There it is. Feels really gnarly though. But I mean, it is hard. Alright, I'll just go and take that and give it a buff, fellas. So I'll put you over to there for 2 seconds, just till I get over there and give it a good buffing. Won't take much, to be honest. Just blending the side into the bottom with the buffer now. And that should about do it. I'm just giving it all a quick once over again. And that'd be her. Geez, I'll tell you what, it's really weird grain, eh? Let me go back to camera 2. Focus, focus, focus. So that's it, finished. And that's me, finished. Thanks for sticking in there, guys. I know it's been a long stream. You know, we're over three and a half hours long now. It's way too long. But anyway, thanks for sticking in there. I hope you've liked seeing Srdjan's Amboyna Burl taking shape and being turned into a handle. A lot of work. So I'm just going to get rid of that now, and I think what I'll do, fellas, is I'll thank you all for coming in the stream. Like I said, thanks for hanging in there, thanks for sticking with me on it. It was a very long stream, something that I don't really want to do too many of. But look, we've got a nice handle to show for it. It certainly is a stunner. Beautiful piece of wood. A lot of gnarly grain in it. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I love it natural like that. I wouldn't touch it, to be honest. I'd leave it like that if it was me, because I just think it's how the timber is. It's natural. It's been turned, but it's got a natural grain in it. It's got hard and soft. It's got colour. It's just beautiful. Anyway, fellas, like I said, thank you for hanging in there with me. The guys that did, Brett's still there. He's just pulled up at home, so you'll be able to watch the replay back later, mate, when you got time. Srdjan, thanks for dropping in, mate. Thanks for getting back to me on those questions that I had for you. Like I said, your tube was a bit oversized to the size that you'd given me, but it fits in there beautifully now, so I'll get some of them cut, and hopefully that'll help you in what you're trying to do. Anyway, fellas, I'm going to shut the stream down, shut the workshop doors down now. Thanks again for coming along. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do, and take care, all of you, and we'll see you on Sunday night, eh? How's that sound? All good? Okay, see you, fellas.